I've always enjoyed ragtime music. We call it Eagles and Ivories Ragtime because we started that way, but no, it includes jazz, spirituals, popular music. These performers can play anything that you mentioned. Over the course of the 4-day event now, there'll be close to 2,000 people. First year, pretty well received, except we had a terrible snowstorm. Second year, we had an ice storm, but we've survived for 33 years now.
Thank you.
I took piano lessons all the way through grade school, high school. My father came from Lost Station, Iowa. There were two brothers in Lost Station, the Ruttenbecks. But one of them was also a member of John Philip Sousa's band. And when they would come to Muscatine to visit, we had an all-upright piano. And it was usually ragtime that they played, not always, but usually. It was then the basis for jazz, blues, and even pop music.
How many of you have seen us before? How many of you are seeing us for the first time? How many of you are seeing us for the last time? Everybody's healthy. I want to be a joy spreader. The best way I know how to do that is through music. So I love your 2-year-olds, your 92-year-olds, everything in between. And we say here, yeah, we start with ragtime, that's our core, because that's the core of American music. And anything kids are listening to today that they think is hip was already being done 126 years ago, just with a slightly different language, and done by kids, teens. It's always kids who develop the new thing. So ragtime was it, but then it would morph into other things. And there's a common misconception, if you're someone in one of these assisted facilities, this is not music that you grew up with. If you're an 80-year-old, you grew up with Jerry Lee Lewis. It's more, okay, here's something that I have them coming up and saying, my mom used to play that song on the piano when I was a kid. But if you can get kids hooked on something they're not gonna get, they say, wait a minute, that's very cool. We should check into that. Everything needs to be presented in a way that is fresh and new. And if you can do that, you can get people to go anywhere you want them to.
It's really evolved, the festival. People are always saying, there's nothing to do in Muscatine or in Iowa, but yet I think music is kind of the universal language and it speaks to everybody. When we first started out, it was one person, and it's grown to basically a whole week now. We start with an artist in residence, and we've been doing that for, I believe, 4 years. It's extremely well received by the community, and you can see it in the joy in young and old.
Jefferson School, the best school in the world.
Well, I love going out to the schools. This is a different genre of music these kids are not familiar with.
1, 2, or 1, 2.
And it's not just ragtime. We do all kinds of different, we do jazz and spirituals and rock and roll. The boogie woogie music really speaks to everybody, I think.
Musical director is Jeff Barnhart, one of the best performers you'll find anywhere in the country. We also had Dave Bennett, who's out of Michigan, a tremendous clarinetist, but he's also boogie woogie, early rock and roll pianist too. Feature performer this year was from England, Neville Dickey. He's 89 years old and performed for a number of years on BBC radio in England. And this year he performed for 7 schools and 7 or 8 retirement homes.
Okay, this is a ragtime festival, so from 1908, The Whitewash Man.
My mother used to make me practice by putting an alarm clock on the piano. I had to practice for half an hour. When the alarm clock went off, I was free. Because sheet music was very difficult to get hold of. Sheet music from 1920s and 30s. And I always remember when I was about 20 years old. I saw this book advertised. It was 100 ragtime pieces. And I sent away to America and got this album. And so I started to practice those.
The reason we call it Eagles and Ivories is because the Mississippi River freezes over in Muscatine usually. And so some years we'd have as many as 300, 400 eagles here. Not that many this year because the river was open earlier.
We are here for Eagles and Ivories. These are two things that don't necessarily seem like they go together. How does that work for you?
For us, it's the Eagles.
Yeah.
We do the natural part of it, and they're the music part of it. We are just down from lock and dam number 16, so the water generally stays open a little bit more at the locks along the river, so they congregate along those locks.
Well, what do you hope people take away from this experience?
I really want people to get excited about how cool all these animals are, even if it's a barred owl, if it's an eagle, because when they get excited about those animals, they're going to want to protect the habitats that those animals live in, and we need that.
Do eagles like ragtime?
I think they do.
What I like about it, the variety. We try to mix it up with not only the performers themselves, but with the style of music that they bring.
What I'd like to think is that our festival features what Johnny Mercer called the golden age of melody, meaning from about 1890 to 1950. What I love is the people, first of all, welcome you so warmly because they know you're here to spread the joy. You're here to create something that's going to take them away, transport them to someplace really fun and exciting. And I do love this town. I've always said this is a small town with a big heart.
It makes me happy to have a festival like this. The music talent that we bring in, I would encourage people, if they've never been, to come because I can guarantee you they would have a good time.